let's talk about some of the key matchups for this Oklahoma Ole Miss game where I think there's a lot that we could dive into, but we're not going to dive into everything. I think it truly comes down to Oklahoma's elite defense against Ole Miss's explosive offense. That is the obvious matchup. First, talking about Oklahoma's defense and what they've been able to do, leading the nation in sacks per game at 4.2 sacks per game. That's just absurd numbers for this Oklahoma defense. Amazing defense. Had one down game, and we know what one that was. This defense had one down game, and they bounced back, and they come back, and the offense also had a bad game, and bounced back. A nation leader in yards allowed per game. And I think I've got some old, outdated numbers on some of these stats too. I feel like this one might be outdated, but this is a top defense, no doubt. And then, of course, number 2 in pass defense, allowing just 126.3 yards per game. That one might be an outdated stat that I wrote down before updating this past weekend. But then 13 tackles for a loss against South Carolina, tied for a national lead, and also tied, I believe, either tied or leading right now in tackles for a loss. It's one that I think it's a defense that Oklahoma fans have been waiting on for a long time. It's a defense that Oklahoma fans have been dreaming about for a very long time. And it truly is great to see this defense come to fruition. And it's the defense that you would expect from a Brent Venables-led team, a Brent Venables team that he is calling the shots, and you can tell this season because this defense truly is elite. And I had a lot of people trying to tell me early on that this isn't an elite defense, but you're seeing each game that it truly is. Not only that, but finally getting some turnovers under its belt. Had some against Kent State, couldn't get any against Texas, couldn't really do anything against Texas. Texas just owned that game. Texas dominated Oklahoma, but then bouncing back against South Carolina, getting a couple of turnovers. And the one was kind of like, I don't really both of them. I'm not even going to touch on it. Oklahoma had 2 turnovers, and you can even add another turnover in there because they got a safety. Now recording a safety in both of their, in 2 of their SEC wins, both of their SEC wins. So getting a safety, this is truly a suffocating defense, a defense that knows how to get in the backfield, get tackles for a loss, and that is the story of this matchup against Ole Miss. And that overlay down below is supposed to say versus Ole Miss's explosive offense, because this offense has a lot of firepower. Before the Georgia game, Ole Miss was number 1 in passing yards in the SEC, number 1 in scoring in the SEC, best third down conversion team in the conference. However, honestly, it wasn't even completely silent against Georgia. It was just in the fourth quarter, and it feels like even Lane Kiffin announced earlier on in a press conference this past week that I believe it might have even been post-game press conference that he felt like they had a lot to fix leading into this Oklahoma game. And he even kind of gave I think a lot of people taking it as an indictment. I think Brent Venables and myself take that more as a compliment, kind of a hidden compliment that Lane Kiffin said that Oklahoma's defense looks like they just know the next play, as if they already know your signs. And I don't think he was really accusing him or anything. I think he might have his own kind of, I kind of question it because of how good this defense is. But in some sense, it truly was. It's really how you perceive it. It truly was a compliment to this defense. And you see how this defense performs. A lot of times it just feels like they know what the play is coming. And it comes from a lot of film study. This is a defense that studies film unlike any other Oklahoma team that I've heard of in the past. The way that they study film is relentless. The offense and the defense, really both. But this defense specifically, the amount of film that they get each week and the amount of film that they get already by Monday is truly remarkable. And so you have to give it a lot to this defense and the leadership that they show and getting their guys in there and getting the rest of the team in to get that film in. They're not just watching it on their own, although sometimes that is the case. They're getting the rest of their group, their position group together to do these things. And Brent Venables has spoken many times throughout the spring ball, fall ball, and then leading into this season about how much he feels like he has a leader all over the field. many times. He says that he feels like there isn't just that one standout alpha guy. It feels like everybody kind of fills that role. There's so many different guys that fill that role of being a true leader, and truly remarkable again for Oklahoma in that regard. But Ole Miss's offensive firepower against Oklahoma's defense is obviously going to be the big matchup here in this game. Nobody really thinks that it's going to be a high scoring matchup. It's going to be offense against offense. I think most people believe that it will most likely be kind of that defense winning it for Oklahoma. If there's a way that Oklahoma wins it, it's the offense scores 28 points and the defense holds and does their thing. That's kind of how this season has gone for this team. When the offense can do their part, the defense seems to do just fine on theirs as well.